Hi guys, welcome to the channel. If you don't know me, my name is Zohar. I am a Big Four trained chartered accountant, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about my journey into public accounting in the UK, particularly in London. So I trained with one of the Big Four firms, and it was quite a grueling process. And I'm just going to quickly discuss my journey. Maybe you can relate to it. Maybe it will help you deciding whether this is something that's for you or whether you just want to know more about the process. And maybe you can relate to kind of my journey or my situation. So without further ado, let's get started. Just gonna have a quick sip of my coffee because it is a Sunday and I'm falling asleep. I think I'm getting too old for late nights now, being 28. I would not call myself, I guess, a traditional chartered accountant in that I didn't do like a finance degree or a finance apprenticeship. I didn't do accounting and finance or economics. I did physics at university. And you're probably wondering, how on earth did I then fall into the Big Four or into accounting, auditing in particular? So cut the story short, I went through high school. I wasn't like an A-star student. I got 6 A's and 4 B's and like a C and I think a pass in BTEC sport. But yeah, and that was enough to get me into, like college, sixth form. So for if any Americans watching this video, college is what you do before university. It's not university itself. And then at A levels, I did maths, physics, economics, and English. As you can probably tell from those subject range, I was a guy who was a bit confused. I didn't know whether I didn't know what I wanted to go into. So at first, I thought I wanted to be a doctor and I was going to do biology, chemistry. Then I said to myself, do you know what? Actually, I want to be a banker. Then I did economics. And then I thought to myself, but what if I want to do law? So I did English lit. So those 2 years for me were like my discovery years. It really helped. Those subjects really helped me understand what I liked and what I didn't like, I guess. Ultimately, I settled on 2. I enjoyed physics and economics the most out of all the 4 subjects. And so I was stuck. I was at an impasse and I was stuck between doing economics or physics at university. And I remember I wrote a personal statement for both of them because I couldn't decide which one to go with. And then ultimately, I spoke to a careers advisor and spoke to a lot of people, like some people who were doing physics and people who were doing economics at university. And I came to the decision that in order to decide which path to go by, I looked at the pros and cons of both. And essentially, I told myself if I did physics, I could always go into finance, but if I did economics, I couldn't go back into physics because the skills you need for physics are very specialized. Whereas with economics, a lot of these banks and accounting firms and consultancies, they take people from a wide variety of backgrounds. I know people now in my own firm that have done history, PPE, English, maths, physics, chemistry. So, in fact, even pharmacy, to be fair. And the reason for that is because most firms can teach you, and they have really sophisticated training, programs to train you into understanding how to do business the way they do it. And so they care more about just the transferable skills you have from your degree. So yeah, that's why I did physics. Then I get to basically the second year of my physics degree, entering my final year. And I tell myself, do you know what? Physics has been great. And I really enjoyed kind of like the mathematical side of it. But I do still have that economics kind of dream in my head in that I want to go into financial services. I want to be part of kind of like the financial services side of the economy. That's how I want to contribute. I want to help clients. I want to do things that bring value. I think it's suited my personality. I like talking to lots of people and creating things and, helping people with different stuff. And I just felt like a career in financial services would do that for me. And then I had to decide what I would do. Like, what can make me marketable to join these kind of firms? Now, when you do physics, of course, as you can probably imagine, you get so nitty and gritty into the quantum mechanics and, fluid dynamics and statistical mechanics, particle physics, and the list goes on, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't really teach you how to do, like how do you read a balance sheet? What's a debit? What's a credit? What's a discounted cash flow model? What's NPV? How do you value, what are the different ways to value a company, dividend valuation model, etc. What is EBITDA, So I had to, as a result, decide, how do I get into a firm with all this information while still studying for my physics exams? what works for me. And at the time for me, and different things work for different people. Like some people were able to do Udemy courses. Some people had relatives in banks who had trained them from a young age in terms of what's required in terms of an internship. Some people were lucky they secured an internship with a bank and that kind of set them up for life. I didn't have any of those situations. So I was kind of like square one, no contacts, no networks. So I had to really think of what route would I take to break into the field. And I felt like the best one to do for me personally was to get with a firm that does the ACA qualified training contract, basically the qualifications. Get with a firm that does, basically get with a firm that offers the ACA contract. Because for me, doing the ACA would be like a conversion course in a way, a bit like an MBA or a master's, because I knew that by the end of the ACA, I would know exactly how to read a financial statement, how to understand it top to bottom, how to look at a company, value a company, understand its financial health, and as a result, have the tools necessary to then go on to do other things. So I naturally applied for the big four firms. I applied to not just the big four, I applied to like the top 10 firms. I didn't have time to do any more applications than that. And thankfully, as you can probably imagine, I got a few offers, did a few interviews, and I ended up liking a big four firm in particular. I'm not going to name it just because I'm not actually sure as someone trying to break into YouTube whether I'm meant to say the company, because technically I'm not representing them in this video. This is kind of like my independent channel, but I'm sure if you search my name on LinkedIn, you'll find who I work for. But yeah, I basically decided to go with that particular company in the Big Four because the culture, the energy, the vibe from the partners and directors during my assessment center, the managers, I really liked the energy, and I felt like this was a place where I could learn and grow. So I then obviously signed the contract. And the rest was history. Now, in terms of the application process, maybe I'll make a different video talking about the details of that. And I'm sure someone who doesn't really have the strongest academic record, the strongest academic record, or doesn't have any networks in the financial services, they might be able to relate to this more because, I don't have any of that. So maybe I can kind of tell you my journey into how I even got ready in terms of how I even prepared for an interview. But I was not that confident, like 5-6 years ago, the way I am now. Like a lot of this is trained and learned from meeting different people and interacting with lots of different, and just interacting with clients even. Anyways, I'm sidetracking now. So that's my journey into, I guess you can say, public accounting. If you asked me 10 years ago that I'd be working here, I'd say you're crazy. This isn't something that came naturally to me. A lot of it I had to figure out on my own. But yeah, you just got to believe in yourself, believe in your source, believe in your aura, your energy, have the confidence. And essentially, when you're doing these applications, or soul searching, even deciding which firm to go with, you need to go with the mindset that it takes two to tango. It's what do you offer them, but it's also what do they offer you. You're the person that's going to do the exam. You are the person that's going to walk through that door, if you will. Videos like this and other videos on the internet and just careers advisors, family, friends, they can show you different doors. But ultimately, you're going to be the one that walks through it, right? That's hella cliche, but it's true. So you need to understand that whilst public accounting might seem like a hard profession or it's long hours and, can you even survive the ACA? Can you complete it? Can you pass it? All of this comes down to your mindset. If you really want something, you'll find a way to get it, So one last thing before I cut this video is work experience. Do you need work experience? Yes and no. Does work experience help your application? 100%. Did I have any internships in any finance company? Nope. Did I do any spring weeks? Nope. I did not get into any. Did I know family or friends in any big four firm or banks or anything? No, I really did not. So that doesn't mean I'm the example and you shouldn't be applying to these things. They absolutely do help. But if you are watching this video and you are in your final year or you've graduated from university and you've not secured any graduate scheme and you're like, dude, what am I doing with my life? Don't lose hope. I didn't have any of those in my CV. The key is as long as you can make a good CV that showcases your personality and your determination and, what you're interested in and how you would show your enthusiasm in the field and, just showing that you're willing to learn. A lot of these companies will appreciate that, and you'll be surprised. You'll get a lot of offers. Like it's not that simple, but it also is that simple, But I will make another video discussing in more detail the application process. And if I take a long time to make that video, just leave a comment or reach out to me directly on LinkedIn. You can search my name, and I'll be more than willing to help. And depending on the interest, I'll kind of use that to gauge whether it's probably better that I make a more generalized video, because I already get a lot of messages from upcoming grads, particularly people from my university. They probably search my uni and they see people that have gone into those firms, and that's how they reach out. Last but not least, was it worth it? Again, this will probably be a different video, but the answer is yes, I think so. I think it was worth it. Did I at times regret it during the process? Of course, there were times where, I was scared I wasn't going to pass an exam, and I asked myself, why did I get myself into this? Was it, why am I sitting in a library at 1 a.m. when I should be in bed or could have been doing something else? You're constantly going to have doubts, and, it's human nature to have doubts constantly or second guess yourself. But now that I've gone through that process, I'll tell you that it's definitely worth it. The financial security that the chartered accountancy qualification gives you sets you up for life. And it also means that now at 28, I can take a lot more risks because no one's going to take that qualification away from me. And I'm sure a lot of people who are chartered would agree that it really gives you a solid foundation. And even if you don't stay in finance, I have friends who've left finance. So even if you don't stay in it, the skills and the transferable skills you gain from not just the qualification, but working with people that are a lot more senior than you, partners, directors, senior managers even, and on the client side as well, finance directors, financial controllers, and even like financial accountants, just working with these professionals, it changes the way you think about things. And, there's a lot you learn from your clients and even just people in your cohort. And that's something that I think money can't buy, So, and that's probably another strong factor is in your early stage of your career. So like when you're looking for a graduate scheme, don't look at the salary. Money is important. Don't get me wrong. 100%. Now that I'm qualified, money is important. And I'm always trying to find ways to, to better myself, chase a promotion and whatnot. But when you're at the early stage, you're just at the graduate scheme stage, money really does not buy happiness. It's a balance. What buys you happiness is a place that has a very good training program, a place that has a good culture, because it's the skills you gain from a place like that will make you more valuable to the market. So it's kind of like take 2 steps backwards in the salary to then take 5 steps forward when you qualify. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that video. I'm not going to ask you to like, comment, and subscribe because I think once I've made enough videos and I've been consistent, then maybe I would have earned that right. So I will say if you enjoyed it, just, circle back at some point. There'll be more videos coming up. But otherwise, peace. Have a good week and see you on the next one.